If you want to use your computer to record your own music, you can't really use your computer's built-in audio jacks. The microphone and headphone jacks on most laptop and desktop computers are fine for watching videos, playing video games, and making Skype calls, but if you want to make great sounding recordings, you're going to need a dedicated audio interface. Sometimes this is called a sound card.
So why do we need an audio interface? Well, there are two big reasons. One, the inputs and outputs on your audio interface will give you much better sound quality than the built-in audio jacks on your computer. And two, even the most basic audio interfaces come with features that can give you a lot more control and flexibility when recording audio.
Unfortunately, there aren't any hard and fast rules when it comes to how different manufacturers label these features. And this can make it really confusing for people who are new to recording. I'm going to show you a few examples so you know what to look for. Let's start by looking at this interface.
This is a common entry-level audio interface made by Focusrite called the Scarlett 2i2. This is a USB interface, which means you connect it to the computer with a USB cable. Most interfaces nowadays are USB interfaces, though you'll find some exceptions. This one comes with two inputs, meaning you can plug in two separate audio inputs. This model has combo inputs, which means you can plug in either an XLR connector or a 1/4-inch connector. Again, a lot of interfaces nowadays use these combo inputs. Your interface should have some kind of input level control for each input. On most interfaces, this will be labeled gain, or it might just be a knob labeled with the input number.
Let's have a look at another interface. This one's made by Roland, and it's called the Duo Capture EX.
On this interface, the input level control is labeled sens, and that's short for sensitivity.
But no matter what it's called, the input level control is probably the most important knob on your interface, so make sure you know where it is. Now, your interface will also have outputs. Usually these will be on the back.
Most often there are two connectors, left and right, and these will be labeled something like output, line output, or main output.
You'll probably also see a knob to control the output volume. Now, here's the Steinberg UR22.
Here, you can see the output controls on the far right of the panel, and it's labeled output. On some interfaces, this might be called main or monitor instead. Your interface should also have a headphone jack. Usually this is a 1/4-inch jack, and it'll be labeled either with the words phones or a picture of some headphones. Most of the time, the headphone jack will also have a corresponding knob to adjust the headphone volume.
Now, if you see a switch labeled 48V or Phantom somewhere on your audio interface, it means your interface can send phantom power to a microphone if needed. We'll learn more about what that means later on, but for now, just make a note of where that switch is.
On the Steinberg UR22, we have a switch on the back that turns phantom power off or on, as well as a light on the front to tell us whether or not phantom power is on. Last but not least, your interface might have some kind of knob labeled mix or mixer. It might have the word input on one side and the word playback or DAW on the other. This is how you'll control what's called direct monitoring.
We'll talk more about direct monitoring later in the course, but for now, just make sure you know where this control is. If your interface doesn't have a mix control knob, look for a switch labeled direct monitor, either on the front or the back. Now, on the Focusrite,
We have a simple switch on the front labeled direct monitor, and you can turn it on and off. And if we look at the Roland on the back, we have a switch labeled direct monitor. This one has three options: mono, stereo, or off.
Now, if you've looked all over your interface and you can't find anything labeled mix or mixer or direct monitoring, don't worry. Chances are your interface uses some kind of software instead to control direct monitoring, and we'll cover that later in the course. Finally, you might be wondering, where does this thing get its power? Some interfaces might have a power supply input. Here on the Roland, we have a DC in.
And if we flip it over, we find a place to put batteries in so we can run it on battery power instead.
And if we go back to the Focusrite, however, we'll see there's no place for a plug or batteries. And that's because this device gets its power through USB, and that's actually pretty common. So those are the most common connections and controls you're likely to find on your audio interface. Take a minute now and check out your interface and make sure you know where everything is and how it's labeled.